Alright guys, so in last video you saw we installed a remote start system into the GTR, which brought it up all the way and modernized it to, like, I don't know, the 1990s or something. Today we are taking it a step further and bringing it all the way into 2022 with the installation of a wireless CarPlay system that works seamlessly with the factory nav package and the factory screen. So we're installing a module behind the dashboard that's going to work with our factory system that also allows us to use all of our CarPlay functions. Let's get to it. Okay, so the system that we're going to be using is from a company called Nifty City. And when you order this, you could actually configure it in a couple of different ways. What I've opted for here is the 3 GB version of memory versus the 2 GB version. This should hopefully give it some snappier performance. It's supposed to be the upgraded internals. I mean, who actually knows? I can't exactly like break this thing down and verify, but this is what is actually going to allow us to run CarPlay on our factory screen. No modifications are going to be necessary here. Everything is going in behind the dashboard, and Nifty City sends you this module along with all of the required cabling and harnesses that you're going to need for the install. If you guys are interested in picking up one of these for your GTR or other vehicles, they actually have these for other cars too. I'm going to leave a link down below where you can go and check them out. Now, the first thing we're going to need to do is remove a whole bunch of trim from here, and around the stereo system so that we can get back behind the dash and start plugging things in. If you guys are going to be doing any kind of install like this in your cars, car stereo work, or any kind of trim work or prying, it's really important to get a set of tools like this. I'm going to leave a link down below where you could find this on Amazon, but these are basically just plastic pry tools of different shapes and sizes and thicknesses that will allow you to get behind the pieces of the dashboard and pry them loose from their clips without actually damaging anything, or at least that's the idea. So that's what we're going to be using here. I just used one to pry this piece off. We're going to do this one next, and then we have to come down and do the shifter trim and bezel, and then we could actually access the screws that are holding everything in place. So far this is relatively straightforward. We got the center console off, we've got the R switches off, we've got the climate control and whatnot off, we've got the nav screen off, and here is the unit with the connections that we are going to have to plug into back here. And there's going to be a harness that goes between this and the Nifty City unit right there, that kind of pipes in CarPlay. Now, what I had to do here was a lot of prying. There was only 8 screws so far, but mostly a lot of prying. So again, if you're going to try something like this, make sure you have those pry tools. It makes things a lot easier and safer, and less dangerous for your materials and whatnot. But the next step here is make sure that you have all of your wiring harnesses stay in the same place they were when they came out, like when they were unplugged, so that you know where they go and where they plug back into. What we have to do next is take out the CD player, because there is another wire that goes back there that needs to be connected to, I believe. So onward. So I did skip a few steps here, just kind of because I got caught up in the process of wiring everything up and testing it to make sure it works, and it does indeed work. I unfortunately scratched my screen in the process of doing this, so if anybody knows how to unscratch a screen, please let me know. Yeah, so the box is hooked up properly. I still need to reassemble everything, and I still need to find a place to put it in here. So maybe it could go up under there, maybe it could go back in there, but it's got to get tucked away somewhere in the dashboard. And then the last step in the process is actually I have to take this auxiliary cable and I have to route it down through the center console here and then into here where this is. So I'm probably going to have to drill through here in order to get wiring down inside of here, so you don't see it, because that is that's how you get audio into the system through wireless CarPlay. So we press on here. Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry I skipped a few steps, but just kind of got rolling here and didn't really want to stop. But we're reassembling now. And we're done. All buttoned back up. This is not a tutorial, as you probably can tell by now. But just kind of like, hey, this is a cool thing you could do. So let's check it out. Let's just turn the car on. Get the GTR splash. Hold on, let me do one of these. Right? So, as soon as this goes, oh, there we go. In order to access your the new Nifty City system and Apple CarPlay, you just hit the back button and it starts up the system. It'll connect to your phone, and bam, we got CarPlay wirelessly. So if I hit play, and then you have all the regular functions of Apple CarPlay. So it automatically puts this Nifty City thing there. I don't know what that's about, but you have maps and music and your phone and messages, and then you can swipe. This touchscreen is still the same touchscreen from 2012. So the touchscreen itself is not quite as responsive as something from 2022 or whatever, but it still works just fine. And there's my maps. And now you all know where I live, apparently. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's a quick overview of how to add CarPlay to your GTR. Now, granted, like I said, this isn't a how-to guide. This wasn't incredibly detailed, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys how you could take an older car and kind of modernize it in a couple different ways. So we added the remote start, now we added the CarPlay, and for the amount of performance and what you could do with this car, it is incredibly practical. It has like a good sized trunk. It has 4 seats. Even though they're small, they're there. You could put smaller people back there, and now it has wireless CarPlay and remote start. It has heated seats and really a lot of other things that you could possibly want on a comfort side for a car today, but it still gives you that really visceral, brutal performance and analog feel that you might want from a car from 20 years ago. So that's one of the reasons that I love this car, and now I love it even more because I could listen to some tunes and whatnot and do it wirelessly. So thanks for following along here, and I will see you guys in the next video.